Hi, my name is Chris Kirkpatrick with Career Next, where we are transforming the job search experience for high performers. And for this video, I want to talk about the 3 beliefs that people have going into the job interview process and preparing for that job interview process that are potentially holding you back from landing that ideal position that you're competing for. Now, before I get into that, I want to encourage you to click on the subscription button. We create new content every single week and put it out there for free. And if you're an active job seeker, I promise you it will make a great impact in your job search and will help you plug a lot of the leaks that you have potentially in your job search. Now, I also encourage you click the bell. That way you do get notifications after subscribing every single time that we release a video that may be able to help you. Now, getting into the video here, the first thing that I think is important to understand is that you are there for a reason. Now, if you were invited for an interview, that means a company saw you, they liked you, there was something about your brand, your resume, something that they found that stuck out as to why they invited you for an interview in the first place. Now, when you understand that and you really wrap your head around that, the dynamics and the power shift starts to, the pendulum starts to swing in your direction, right? A lot of times people go into interviews and they kind of feel like they're facing a firing squad, right? And you're on the defensive. And the most certain way that you're gonna get bad results in an interview is to kind of be defensive and just answer their questions. You need to go in there with a certain level of posture and understanding that they brought you in for a reason. The first thing that you need to do is figure out what that reason is. What was it on your resume? What was it in your past experiences? What was it in the results that you've gotten for prior companies? What is it that they saw on your LinkedIn profile and your branding that had them bring you in and invest a significant portion of their day into you for the interview process? The fact that they have you there says a lot, and so figure that out. The second thing that I think people get into when they're preparing for the interview and actually going through the interview on the day of the interview is that they feel like they're being set up to be trapped or maybe be tricked, that there's some tripwire questions or whatever, and people spend a lot of time preparing for those tripwire questions. And the reality is great companies, no company you're ever going to be interested in working for is going to do that to you, right? So don't spend your time ahead of time trying to figure out, how they may be trying to trip you up or anything of that nature. Make sure you're spending time figuring out the value that you bring to the company, what problems that you solve for the company, where the correlations are, where you add the most value, and how you can quantify that value. The third thing to remember here is that they actually need your help. You may be nervous and apprehensive and a little bit scared about this interview process, right? But the reality is they are too. Think about it. We deal with a lot of high performers in the $100,000 and up, kind of the 6-figure to 7-figure income range. And when you're talking about hiring for those levels of positions, they don't interview a lot of people at those levels. And so it's key to understand that they are just as apprehensive as you are because the stakes are very high for them. The pool of people in your space is not as high. The risk for the company is actually far greater because the mistakes that when they hire leadership level positions, the mistakes, if they hire the wrong person, it's infinitely more expensive than if they screw up interviewing somebody in the $35,000, $40,000, $50,000 range, right? And so you need to, once again, help the interviewer. And it's funny how this works. If you go from the beginning and if you can get that first one right and figure out why do they have me here in the first place? What was it about me that had them invite me in for an interview? Because if you can really dial that in and be really, really clear about that, that's going to answer this. That's going to solve the next 2 problems. You're going to focus on the right areas to prepare. And then thirdly, you're going to get into that interview and you're going to be prepared to ask them the right questions. And you're going to help guide them as to why you are that right person, why they brought you there. So you can ask them questions about their company that are in alignment with the value you bring to the table. You can ask them questions about what they see in you and kind of put it back on them a little bit. And when you do that, it really will help give them a lot more confidence that you understand who they are as a company, what their goals and objectives are, the problems that you can solve for them. It'll help them realize that you understand their culture a little better and that you're more dynamic. Because don't forget, companies Nobody ever hires a resume. That may get you the interview, but you really have to build a bridge. The most important thing is to, yes, you have to articulate and quantify your prior results, and that's the first thing. But right after that, the next thing that's the most important is they have to like you. You know, nobody's gonna hire anybody that they don't like, that they can't see themselves working with or working for every single day of the work year. So I hope that helps. Those are the three things that you need to do, that you need to really focus on and kind of prep your mind for going through the interview process. And when you do, I promise you it's gonna get you better results, and you're gonna find that job you're looking for faster, and you're gonna beat out the people who are not preparing properly and finding and knowing how to find, identify, and articulate their value and how it relates to that ideal target company. So I hope that helps. I hope you have a blessed, inspirational day. We'll see you on the next video.